Alrighty, Brooklyn, tell me what organic means.
Something that is produced or involving production without the use of chemical fertilizers, pesticides, or other artificial agents. And it's regulated by the USDA. And a fun fact about it is if it is found that a product has known been mislabeled, there is a civil penalty up to $11,000.
Whoa.
All right, so if a corporation or company lies about something being organic, then they might have to pay $11,000. Yeah,
That's
right?
it.
That's it?
That's not much.
Ryan, put it away. But organic pretty much means it's made without any additional pesticides or chemicals, and it's also preserved and shipped without those additional chemicals. Thank you, Brooklyn. Anybody want to explain to me what FSIS means? Food Safety and Inspection Service. What do they do? Yeah, Emma. Yeah.
And they're responsible for ensuring that the nation's commercial supply of food processed food products are safe, wholesome, and trustworthy.
Right. So they're a part of USDA, and they make sure they're the actual ones who inspect the process and labeling, packaging, and shipping of meat, poultry, and eggs. So they're literally the people who maybe travel from state to state holding different farms or whatever it is accountable and making sure that the packaging centers are following guidelines. Thank you, Emma. Do you guys know what public health means?
The health of the public.
Was that your hand, Adam? Yeah. Right. So quality of life of the public. There's different parts of public health. Go ahead and shut your laptop screens for me. There are different parts of public health, disease, but also just any epidemic sort of that travels the world or country. They look at how can we prevent it. Public health is all about prevention. So that's why, do you guys remember when COVID first started coming out, right before we went on spring break, everyone was like, make sure you wash your hands, because that's all prevention. Masks, prevention. Alrighty. So that's why also food safety and inspection, that's prevention to make sure that no one gets sick. It's inspecting it. Natalie, what's the EPA and what do they do with food? Okay, so they value food like a natural resource, and they sort of try to figure out how we can use it and maintain it over time as a resource. CDC, what does the CDC do, Tony? Good. Right. So any diseases or illnesses related to food, the CDC keeps track of, follows, uses, maintains data, figures out what next steps to take. Alan, who's the USDA? Good. So the USDA also is sort of public health. They're keeping track of food, again, specifically meat, poultry, and eggs, I believe. And just making sure they're healthy, and they do label things as well. Just to switch gears, can anyone tell me what the FDA is?
The Food and Drug Administration.
Yeah, and Adam, what does the FDA do? Right. Exactly. So how it's made, and is the nutrition label accurate? And actually, the FDA is the reason that Steak and Shake can sell you their milkshakes. The FDA has said, you know what, yeah, this is consumable and this is okay for the public. But say they come out with something that has literally, maybe it's for whatever reason worse. Maybe it has an artificial sweetener that could hurt you. The FDA would tell them, no, you can't do that. So, yeah.
Mark said he's gonna take local.
Okay. All right. We're gonna go through the ones that people have offered to do then. Anybody?
Go through all.
All of
We
them?
really need to go.
We'll come back to them later. Rocco, what does all natural mean?
It does not contain artificial ingredients or preservatives. And the ingredients are only minimally processed, however, they may contain antibiotics, growth hormones, and other similar chemicals.
Good. So they don't have artificial ingredients or preservatives, and they're minimally processed. But they might have, like what you said, they might have some hormones or some antibiotics. What's the difference between all natural and natural? Does anyone know? Is there a difference?
No difference.
There's literally no difference. So if you see something at the store that says that these oats are all natural, what is it? It's a
Actually,
scam.
I read that all
It is
natural because it has no official definition to it. It's technically not regulated. So if they put that on there, it's like loopholes. Woo.
That's true. They're a nice particular person. Well, one corporation that's very good at loopholes is Starbucks. Did you know that Starbucks created their own organization to label them as ethical?
Oh, amazing.
That's like if Mr. Reed says, "We are CSA, and I will give you a sticker certifying you as a CSA graduate." Like, congratulations. Literally, I can give whoever I want that sticker, and the rules are set by me. Anyway, all right. Let's try. Can someone tell me? Let's just go through a couple of them quickly. Expired by. Someone tell me what it means. Yes, Ryan.
Expired by is different than when you buy it. There's a label that says when it goes out of date, but it's not actually the label.
Yeah. Is it regulated by anybody?
I don't know what it is.
Okay, so expired
It's a
by,
food
regulated.
label, so
I think
therefore it's probably regulated by the FDA, right?
I think expired by is actually, it's made up by the people, the company that uses that creates that food.
But
They-
they're told they have to have some sort of label.
Yeah.
on that by the FDA.
They're told that they have to have some label, and then it's usually the actual company that created the cheese or whatever that tells you, oh, don't use this cheese after this date.
Alex said he'd do free range.
Okay. And then if you think about, however, if I was creating all of the cheese in the world and I am the people that you are buying cheese from, would I mean, if I wanted to, could I give you an expired by date that's maybe a little bit
Later.
earlier?
No, sooner.
Sooner
Yeah, 'cause you
rather
have to
than
buy
later,
more.
so maybe you throw out that cheese and buy more. Or it's also like a way for me to cover my back, right? If Emma gets sick after eating the cheddar cheese that I made and I had a later expiration date, Emma could maybe sue me. But anyway, all right, Alec, free range, what is it?
Free range is a method of farming where the animals, for at least part of the day, roam freely outdoors rather than being confined in an enclosure for 24 hours every day.
Good. Is there any amount of time that they have to be outside for something to be called free range? Nope.
I
They
heard
just-
if they put them out there for 2 minutes, it's free range.
It also can be like such a small patch of
Yeah.
grass, like a foot of grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Just be grateful, chickens, is what they say.
Yeah, they were like,
Alrighty, sugar-free. Sam, what's sugar-free mean?
Food must have less than half a gram of sugar per serving,
Yep.
and it's regulated by the FDA, I think.
Yep.
And Tic Tacs get away with labeling as sugar-free despite being almost pure sugar because a Tic Tac is less than a gram.
Dun dun dun. So therefore, they are technically sugar-free, even though they're literally also technically sugar. Made with organic ingredients. Brooklyn told us what organic is, but made with organic ingredients means that they are
70% organic ingredients
Good.
and cannot be produced with sewage sludge-based products or ionizing radiation.
Love that sewage-based sludge products.
What
Just
is
kidding.
made out of sewage sludge?
Alrighty, processed. Does anyone know what processed
Nobody's
means?
gonna answer that question.
Yeah, literally anything that goes to a factory. So like if
I
you,
thought but unprocessed isn't food that has not been changed in character. So wouldn't that make processed like anything that's changed in character? Like if I peel a skin off an apple, that makes it processed.
Yeah.
doesn't it?
so like,
Just an apple going through a factory to be cleaned isn't processed, is it?
actually, okay, I understand what you're saying. I don't think, so from my understanding of process, I believe that it is sort of when you change the chemical property of that. So like if you bake something, if you cook something, if you boil it, if you marinate it, if you pickle it, that's all for sure processed. If you cut it, slice it, piece it, that's also processed. So I feel like probably under the definition of process, it is like something cleaned, like washed, isn't necessarily processed.
But it still went through a factory.
It did go through a factory. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it wasn't chemically changed. If, however, like it's washed with preservatives,
Yeah.
then that might make it processed, and it would definitely not make it organic.
But most people think of American cheese and stuff like that, where it's actually chemicals put in it, so that it's almost eating plastic.
Yeah.
It's
All right. High, whatever. Anybody want to just take a shot at
Delicious.
when something is high? What is it? Like high sodium, high lactose. That's not a thing. Yeah, more than the normal serving size. Rocco gave us all natural. Adam gave us FDA. Does healthy have a definition?
Yes.
What's the definition of something that's healthy?
It must meet a minimum low for fats and other ingredients and at least 10% of the daily recommended value of other necessary nutrients.
Good. Is healthy the label regulated?
Maybe.
Maybe.
FDA, because it goes on the bottle.
Yeah, I think it might be FDA, if anybody. It would be FDA because they're labeling. All right, low source of blank. What does a low source of what does low mean? Yeah, lower than normal. And
It's also defined in respect to serving sizes.
right, so for example, if I gave you guys a package of M&Ms and told you that the serving size is 5 M&Ms, could I say that it's low sugar?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the serving size itself is less than your daily value. Are M&Ms low sugar though?
Absolutely.
Not necessarily. All right,
Oh, yeah.
we did organic one time already, but can anyone tell me what 100% organic means?
okay.
It's the same as organic, except everything in it, all of the ingredients are organic. There's no difference between labeling something just normal organic and 100% organic.
So if it's organic, it has to be 100% organic.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it says made with organic ingredients, then it doesn't have to be. All right. So again, if you see oats labeled 100% organic, it's a scam. All right, unprocessed, we talked about, is the opposite of processed. It means that it's not going through a factory or anything like that. Sam, did you tell us what natural was?
Yeah.
All right, fair trade, Jake. What's fair trade mean?
I mean, when I press it, the definition that immediately comes up is for free trade, if you want that.
Okay, what's free trade?
It focuses on the reduction of barriers and policies that favor certain countries or industries.
Yeah. So fair trade and free trade, we haven't really talked about yet, but it is,
Boy, I have
Chicken
the fair
from
trade
China.
definition.
Yeah, go ahead. and
what
do
is
that.
it?
It's, if that instead favors the rights of workers and good working conditions and
Yeah.
seeks to eliminate. Yeah.
So that's actually not necessarily food and how it is, like, it's not the actual stuff we're eating, but it's about the process of the food that we get. All right, genetically modified. Corey, what is it?
It is products that have change for the needs of production, whether it's for more of a yield or to get more out of one thing.
Good. So it's when we're trying to get just for whatever reason, sort of just to create more or better products.
It's both.
Both, more and better. Alrighty.
In fair trade, guys, that's just like, you don't want to have some worker in another country getting $2 or $1 a day for picking
Sure
things.
you
They, so it's basically making sure they are getting a fair wage and good working conditions.
Yep, that's the goal. However, so thank you, Corey, for genetically modified. Fair trade is to ensure that like workers have good working conditions. However, there is no actual definition of what fair trade is. So it's not really regulated. It's just some companies like Starbucks can label them as fair trade. All right, a couple more. Allie, unsweetened. No artificial sweeteners added? Good. All right, cage free, anybody? What's cage free mean? Yes. More.
Just in
They're not put in the cage their whole life.
Yes.
They're not independently.
Right. So in cage free, they can't be contained in any way. But is it regulated?
So like if I put a fence around like a giant 3,000 acre pasture, that still counts as cage?
No.
Oh.
So cage free is minimally regulated. It's like they don't try that hard, and pretty much it's just ensuring that they get to go outside.
So
But
they have free roam between inside and outside.
yes,
Cool.
but I feel like if you just have a big area or something like that, I feel like there are loopholes to probably get around it if you were trying to.
Put a cage half inside and half outside.
Yeah. Like give maybe the chickens a free area to roam in, but then have that entire area like in a giant greenhouse. I have read somewhere that sometimes cage free means that the animals aren't kept apart, so sometimes they might fight each other. Like there can be instances of conflict if they get stressed out, and since they have access to one another, they could hurt each other more. Anyway.
And it says in a large area or open land, Sam. So if you got big pasture, you're good.
Yeah. All right, Mark, local. What's local mean?
Locally made, locally grown, it's around where you live.
Right. How local is local?
As close as possible to where
It's
it's
pretty close, you don't have to go far to get it.
Okay, that's how we're defining it for the sake of our project, right? But Kroger, for example, something that's local at Kroger could be up to 600 miles away.
Whoa.
Because, piece of cake. So, I mean, I guess it's closer than
China.
Cuba. So, alrighty. Thank you, Mark. Whole Foods, anybody?
Food that's not been cut in half.
Good one, Sam. What is Whole Foods?
Okay.
No.
Good. Good. So it's food that has been refined as little as possible. So as few additives that have been added as possible. And last one, grass-fed. Ryan, what's grass-fed mean?
Grass-fed animals that are not fed by like grain, but fed by grass only. And they're not in like Tyson, they're not grass-fed, they're brand.
Right. So grass-fed is regulated by whom? Do you know?
USDA.
Yeah, it's the USDA. And the USDA controls how it is labeled. So they will tell you whether or not you can label something grass-fed, but they don't regulate whether or not you're feeding them, like how you're feeding them, what you're feeding them. So I'm assuming that that means that they don't pay attention to what kind of grass you're feeding them. They're not paying attention to how you're feeding them grass. It's just you're feeding them grass. Alrighty. Should we take a 5-minute break, just a bathroom break? Or do you guys want to jump right into the quiz and then we can work on the grow wall? If you guys need to take a 5-minute break just to go to the bathroom or whatever, you can. if you guys, I know it's raining, so I don't think we can go outside. No.
Oh, man.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and activate this for those of you guys who would like to just go ahead and jump to it. It is on the home page. So like, where is it? Dear Lord. When you finish, I want you guys to try out this reflection that I have for you. And then after that, we get to work with algae all day in the grow wall.
Ew.
Yum. Should eat the algae.
No, it looks
Let's
like
look up some good
canned
algae
salad.
recipes. No, take it today. Because I don't believe in bridge. I mean, I do believe in bridge. But sometimes they make some mistakes. You guys?